You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine. For whatever reason, to phone, by the way, like I said, we'll get to the bottom of it, right? That is what discovery is for. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You're probably hoping, this will go away and at least we'll say we sued her. We'll say we went after her. She'll probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to discovery. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
Candace Owens' career is over. I'm predicting it. She's done. It's over for her, right? She's being sued by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, right? Now, they filed this lawsuit back in July. Now, I'm talking about this because with the situation with Charlie Kirk and the way that she's coming out now against Isreal and calling out Bibi and, she's putting out a lot of conspiracy theories where she doesn't have a lot of proof, right? She's naming these things, right? So now she's going after Isreal. She's going after the French president. And you think that she's going to be able to, her careers wouldn't be able to survive this? She done lost her mind, right? Now, Tucker Carlson, he's also saying some things towards Isreal, but he's not being sued by a sitting president of a powerful nation, right? Now, the reason why she's being sued is because she said that Macron's wife is a man. she said that this man's wife is a man, and they're connected to pedo rings, right? And she's calling this stuff out. They're connected to these pedo world rings, and she wants to help take these people down and bring these people down. She said that she got a phone call from Donald Trump himself, right, and was telling her to tone it down because Emmanuel came to the United States. He had to talk about politics. He mentioned this to the president. So she doubled down on it and was doing like an 8-part series on this man's wife, saying that she need to see proof. She need to see evidence, right? She was just going crazy. But now I think that she's done went down a real dark road, and I don't think that she can't return now. Right? Because I remember 2 years ago when she was saying very disparaging things about the black community. They allowed her to do it. But the minute she said something about Isreal, man, it was over. They wasn't playing with her. They got her up out of there. She made a comeback, right? But she was never as big as she was. I think that let a nasty taste in her mouth. So now she's going after the French president, and with Charlie Kirk being unalive, she's going after Isreal again. And I don't think that she's going to come out. I don't think she's going to make it this time as far as career-wise. But look at some of the things that she was saying about Macron's wife.
Brigitte Macron does not walk right. She doesn't walk right. There's a lot that can be discerned from someone's gait, and I want you guys in this moment to pay close attention to how she walks. Here is a clip of her walking out of a shopping store in Paris. Take a look here. This is slowed down for you. Just look at the legs, the posture. It's interesting, okay? And of course, to add to that, the now infamous clip of Brigitte as a drama instructor, and you can watch the way that she walks, but more importantly, the way that Brigitte sits. Take a look at this clip. And yes, it's real.
Elle plonge.
Okay. There's something about the manner that Brigitte is sitting that you look at that as a woman and you go, that's just not the way that women sit, right? We do not widespread in that manner. We tend to understand that when you look at that image, you're looking at somebody that is a dude. But I'm more concerned in that moment of the way that she's sort of wide walking, right? When you see her coming out of the store. I would say that gait in particular is quite military because it's difficult if you have been in the military for a long time to sort of shake that training. because this is just goofy. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I got to give it to you. You've definitely got balls. Fire everybody around you. And I mean literally everyone around you who told you that this was a good idea, that this was a very good idea for you to be the first sitting first lady of a country to file a lawsuit against a journalist of another country. You are literally making history in all the wrong ways. And I want to be very clear here right at the top that this is obvious, very clear that it is an obvious and desperate public relations strategy. That's what this is. Where do we even begin? Okay, so let's rewind this. In case you're new here, a few weeks ago, Brigitte finally lost her defamation claim against two journalists, which was taking place for years, by the way, over in France. It was the most viral story worldwide. Everyone's going, okay, obviously something is here. She's been clinging to this defamation claim, saying, oh, well, I'm suing them for defamation, and this is not true. And Brigitte's world, therefore, came crashing down because that was her only effective PR strategy. That was the only thing that they used to dissuade the rumors that she was born a man. It was an absolute farce of a lawsuit, which relied upon the public not knowing the details of the lawsuit at all. In short, the lawsuit was not about whether or not she was born a man, okay? That's not the claims of defamation that she was bringing against them. But rather, it was very particular, and it was about whether or not Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy misspoke when Natasha said that a document that they had received throughout their investigation appeared to her to be fraudulent. I mean, they were getting really petty. She basically was like, if you make a mistake, I'm going to sue you for defamation. And of course, when you're working with people who won't answer basic questions, you are bound to make little mistakes. But like I said, Brigitte's entire PR strategy hinged upon public ignorance. And then the public ignorance went away when I did the Becoming Brigitte series, because people realized you only have to get one episode into that thing, okay? You realize these are not outlandish allegations. These are not allegations coming from the quote-unquote far right or the quote-unquote far left. These are not allegations that are coming from deep on a Reddit feed, okay? This is the reality. It is a couple in reality that has been involved in way too many pedophilic scandals, okay? Scandals that are related in some way or another to pedophiles. People that they've worked with, people that they were friends with, artists that they've hired. Things just didn't look right. Then, of course, I invited you guys to recognize that the press in France lied about their origin story. They lied about everything. They tried to present them as some modern couple, telling us that she was so hot, she was Claudia Schiffer, and even though he was 14, she was just irresistible. And then you see this picture, and you're going, what? That's a picture? The hot teacher that the press was trying to sell so people wouldn't question this odd relationship. A person that's 40 being attracted, or alleged to be 40, I actually think Brigitte's older than that, is attracted to a 14-year-old boy. That's disgusting. It's perverted. No matter what, this is an incredibly perverted story, which centers around individuals who happen to surround themselves with other perverts. That's the reality. You cannot look away from that. And then, of course, right about the time that President Donald Trump personally called me and told me that Emmanuel Macron asked him to order me to just stop talking about his wife's penis, then the world knew something was going on here, because that's not normal. That is completely not normal for a sitting president to get on a plane, to come over and visit another sitting president, discuss Ukraine and Russia, negotiations for world peace, and then to take him to the side and say, hey, so do you know Candace Owens, this podcaster? Yeah. That was the moment where the world went, it's over, pack it up, go home. There's clearly something here.
Now, with all the things that she was saying, right, coming at this man's wife, right, and doubling down on it, even when she knew that they had a lawsuit, right? She didn't care. Listen, she has an agenda. I don't think that her husband's gonna be able to save her for this. I know that he's a part of a lodge, but this is lodge business, but I don't think that even he's going to be able to step in and save her from this, because she's going down this dark rabbit hole and she's going way too far that there's not going to be a life rule, right? But their lawyer went to CNN and he did an interview and he said this.
French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are suing right-wing podcaster and conspiracy theorist Candace Owens The defamation lawsuit filed today in Delaware claims that Owens has engaged in a, quote, relentless and unjustified smear campaign against the couple. The complaint goes on to allege that Owens spread outrageous conspiracy theories that France's first lady could be a man, that the Macrons are related in committing incest, and that the Macrons, the couple, is being controlled by the CIA. Obviously, those are deranged claims. In response to the filing, Owens posted a screenshot of a news story about the lawsuit on her Instagram page and wrote, "I will be coming for this wig today. Stay tuned." Owens has, of course, a history of all sorts of deranged conspiracy theories and vile anti-Semitic rhetoric. She was temporarily suspended from YouTube for anti-LGBT comments. Joining us now to discuss is Tom Clare, the lawyer for the Macrons, Emmanuel and Brigitte. And we should note that if people recognize you, they might remember you from the Dominion case suing Fox News for defamation, which resulted in a $787.5 million settlement from Fox, but who's counting? So the lawsuit claims that this has been a year-long campaign by Candace Owens. Why are the Macrons suing now? Like, what changed? Why sue now?
Well, this was really a last resort. We have attempted to engage with her for the last year, putting evidence in front of her, request after request after request, that she just simply do the right thing. This is not a legal thing. Do the right thing, tell the truth, stop spreading these lies. And each time we've done that, she mocked the Macrons. She mocked our efforts to set the record straight. She refused to retract what she had said. She started a merch campaign. She's selling T-shirts mocking and celebrating her defamation of them. And enough is enough. It was time to hold her accountable for this campaign.
So your lawsuit alleges, quote, every time the Macrons leave their home, they do so knowing that countless people have heard and many believe these vile fabrications. It is invasive, dehumanizing, and deeply unjust. Some people out there might think, really, the first couple of France can't leave their home in France without worrying that people believe the deranged nonsense from this American podcaster?
Yeah, what people don't really understand, and a lot of people can go on TV and talk about the president, talk about the first lady, pundits can get on and talk about them, but what people forget is these are human beings. These are a married couple. They have a social life, they have a private life together, they have the same feelings and the same hurt from these sorts of defamatory statements as anybody would. And it does have a material impact on them. It is, it's incredibly upsetting to have this said year after year. And this sort of falsehood is a cancer, and it metastasizes into, obviously, the media, but it also metastasizes into other circles that they're running in.
Now, they have this defamation lawsuit, right, in the courts now against Candace. And they have a lawyer that sued Fox on one of the stations for like $700 and something million, right? So they're going to bankrupt her. They're going to definitely come after her. They're going to bankrupt her. She's going after the small hats and a president of a whole nation. These are powerful people, man. She's not going to survive this career-wise, right? But she's also, with the death of Charlie Kirk, she's been on her channel just going crazy, right? Putting out series is getting millions of views. Who did it? Who ordered the hit, right? And then she put up a photo of Tyler Robinson, and she had BB's photo also on there, right? But she's been basically alluding that Isreal may have had something to do, allegedly has something to do with the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. But she wasn't the only one. Check this out.
He didn't hate Jews. He loved Jews. He had tons of friends who were Jews. He loved the state of Israel. He loved going there. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people, and there's no question.
So Tucker Carlson, he also got in on the situation, and he was revealing private phone calls that he had with Charlie Kirk, saying that Charlie Kirk had a lot of love for Israel, but he didn't like Bibi. He didn't like Bibi. He didn't like the things this is what they're allegedly saying. He didn't like the things that BB was allegedly into. He wasn't co-signing these things, right? So what they're alluding to is they may have had something to do with the unaliving. Now, they're not able to show tangible proof, but they're putting this stuff out there to the world. And this is not a good thing, right? This is not a good thing, right? Now, he didn't like BB, but he took money, allegedly took money from Israel. And this is where Candace Owens come into play, because she's also doubling down saying this.
I'm being contacted by a lot of people that are telling me that just within 48 hours before Charlie passed away, his top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him, demanding that Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who that is, how many people could have donated a building. And then once Charlie was killed, they said, never mind, put it back on the building. Okay. Charlie himself had alluded to a tremendous loss of money coming.
Now, she's alluding to that he actually had major beef with Isreal, right? You know, she's saying that they said would stop the funding and take his name off the building, or take the building away. Once he was unalive, they gave all the money back and all the stuff on the building. And she's saying that she can show receipts. Now, this is the thing with Charlie. Charlie had a very, very large following of young people that normally would have been in support of Isreal. Now, if Charlie was really, as Owens is alluding to, changing his stance on Isreal, with the following that you see that he had, that could have been a major problem for BB and Isreal, right? Now, I don't know if they're guilty or not guilty. I'm just reporting the news and reporting what's being said. I don't know if this is true. I don't know what's false. These are all alleged things that Candace Owens is saying. She doesn't have anything she hasn't presented anything where she can prove this, right? But what we do know that there's a lot of young people today that's changing their stance on Israel. They're no longer pro-Israel. They're talking like this.
Problems. In case you didn't notice, I think you kind of probably noticed. You go downtown, it's not so good. There's a lot of homeless people, deranged people, drug addicts, and violence. In fact, there's places you can't even go. It's so bad. There's places cops won't even go. Cops won't even go. We got our own problems. And then it's like every time we turn our head, there's our politicians back in Israel. And then they come back here, and then they got another check from AIPAC. And then you log online, and it's 10,000s of these accounts spamming about how great Israel is. You're just like, good Lord, I'm an American. Why do I keep hearing about this stuff? So I think people are sick of it. And then this is where they kind of reach the higher geopolitical conclusion that, oh, all the enemies that I'm told I have are actually Israel's enemies. Boy, that's interesting.
So this is a young American, and he's saying, wait a minute. He's tired of the American government funding Israel and mentioning Israel before they actually even mention American citizens. He's talking about the violence that goes on in the streets, the lack of funding, but they are always in support of Israel. So this is a young white American complaining about this. Normally, this is something that you would have never saw. This would have been said in small groups, but this thought process is starting to pick up and permeate through America. A lot of Americans are starting to look at what's going on with in Palestine, and Israel starting to lose their sympathy. But this conversation didn't go without pushback. There's some people that's still pro-Israel, strong, and they don't like the fact that Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and other people are making these claims without being unsubstantiated claims toward Israel. They're saying this.
In a tweet, there's 10 million people, 10 million views who trust Candace. At what point are we going to say Candace gives opinions? Is the FBI? Is the CIA? Is anyone in the intelligence saying, we have credible evidence to find that Israel is at play here? Zero. This is Candace spouting on the internet. Right. And at one point, are people going to be like, we just can't trust what she's saying? Last thing about Candace, and I look, every time I've hung out with Candace, I've enjoyed my time with Candace. I think she's cool. I think she's fun. I think she's gone down a deep, dark rabbit hole the last couple of years. That's my opinion. Her entire career, you can almost assess that it's Jews or very pro-Israel people that have put her on. And she slapped them all in the face. Dennis Prager, Dave Rubin, Charlie Kirk to an extent, Ben Shapiro on Daily Wire. They all gave her a platform. And then she just spits in all their face. And now none of them want anything to do with them. It's very reminiscent in a weird way of the U.S.-China relation. Who opened up the China's role in the world, in the World Trade Organization? Wasn't it Richard Nixon? Didn't Bill Clinton open up a trade organization with China? And now China is our biggest competitor, and they basically spew anti-American rhetoric and try to tear down American hegemony around the world. At some point, you would say this. We've said this in the podcast. Have a little respect for what America's done for you. But now China has no respect for America. They want to tear down America. That is very symbolic of what Candace is doing to Israel.
So I think that this is the final nail in the coffin for Candace Owens. This man just laid out and said that the Jewish community is the one that put her on. And she slapped she gave us a hard slap to everybody in the face. They was okay when she was saying disparaging things about the black community. But the minute she turned around and started spitting that venom back at them, they said, oh, nope, we got to sit you down. We got to show you what real power is. Now, she's caught up going after a sitting president of one of the most powerful nations on the planet. Man, this woman, she doesn't care, man. I don't know who she got backing her or something. Because she's going at the Macrons, Emmanuel and Bridget, the president of France, right? The big honcho, the head honcho of France. She's alluding to and allegedly blaming, trying to put some type of blame on the small hats for having something to do with Charlie Kirk. And she hasn't shown any tangible evidence to substantiate her claim. So now the pushback that she's getting now is from these people because now they're going to run the media all over her because she hasn't shown anything. Now she's made emotional rants. That's about it. But I don't know about this one, man. I don't know about this one. And she all the stuff that she said that, her and Tucker Carlson is saying that they was having private phone calls with Charlie Kirk where he was saying that he didn't like Benjamin Netanyahu, right? He didn't like him. So now when they make these phone calls, when they bring this conversation out, something that was private, and they bring it out to the light, but they're not showing evidence of anything, that's actually incriminating Bibi, right? Now, you can't tell Bibi how he should respond when you can't show proof. You have to be able to show proof when you open your mouth and make these type of statements, right? I don't agree with what Israel's stance is in Palestine, right? But there's certain things I know because I don't control YouTube. I know that they do, right? So when you on somebody else's house, right, and you got a grudge with them, but you don't have proof to substantiate your claim, you got to be careful how you talk. You got to be careful how you move, right? That's just the rules of engagement. That's just the rules of the game. Where's your proof? Provide proof. If you can't provide proof, then don't throw the allegations out there like that. I don't know who did it. All I know is I'm looking at left and right political violence, gang violence. There's people being pow all over the place. From the Minnesota lawmakers to Trump when he was right before he became president again, to Charlie Kirk, to others, right? You have people's husbands are being attacked with hammers. It's just all kinds of political gang violence going on. So ain't no telling who did this. But her career, to me, has went down a dark road, man. And I don't know if she's going to be able to come back from this one. She has too many very powerful enemies, man. And I think it's over for her. But y'all got to let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.